Well, if you don't know why our thumbnail today is advertising a new badge and first games at a new club, then you need to go back and see Monday's episode, which is up in the eye above that side somewhere. But for now, we're coming back for our first games in charge of Olympique Marseille. And it's fair to say, after about a week at the club, I felt I'd made a big mistake because there were offers getting accepted for our star players galore. But since then, we've had a couple reject moves away. We've had a couple sign new contracts, and more importantly, there's a couple of good new players into the club too. We've benefited from a couple of sell-on clauses, and our director of football has been busy. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 71 of the head coach with me, Daniel. Following Europa League disappointment at Bournemouth, we've taken a jump across the channel and we are heading to France to manage Olympique Marseille. Today, we will make our debut in Ligue 1. We'll see if we can live up to the expectation of qualifying for Europe. We'll try and get a good head start before we have to balance Europe in a couple of weeks' time. So if you're looking forward to all of that, as well as seeing a number of new staff that have joined, new players going in and out, and we'll talk about the ones that have rejected moves away as well, and please do put a thumbs up on the video. But for now, before we go and get into all of that, a quick reminder that we introduced all of the staff and players in the last episode. So if you didn't watch it, you're going to need to go back and see it. But if you've done that and you're up to date and raring to go, let's start by having a look at the new staff and the new players we're going to be working with, as well as some of those that have chosen to move away. Because if we have a look at the staff, of course, our technical director is in charge of who comes in. And one thing I found a little weird here is a lot of assistant managers have been appointed. We already had one and we've now had two more, as well as a number of other coaches, staff and etc. So in fact, let's do it from the transfer screen, which will be a little bit easier to try and work out. So if we go through to the transfer history and the staffing, we have had 5 new people join the club. You can see 2 new assistant managers, both of whom are very familiar names to English football fans. A new fitness coach, a new under-19 physio we're not going to worry about, and a familiar head of youth development who's a bit bizarre for this particular role. So after I joined the club, I was followed by head of youth development Kamil Glick, a well-known Polish international, played for Monaco for a few years in this league. But his working with youngsters attribute is 3. No complaints because he's very professional. He's got a great judge of ability. Mentally, he's great. But just seems of all the roles he could do in football, that might be one of the most bizarre ones for him and his attributes. But there we go. He's done it at a couple of other clubs and he seems to have done it well. We've then gone and got a very big name assistant manager in because our technical director has added Pep Lenders, of course, a man you know from Liverpool at the moment, Klopp's number 2. He is remarkable. He's an exceptional coach, and that's something that's going to be important as we rely on the squad and some of the backup younger players, and particularly given the fact that 1 or 2 more have been bought in as well. So absolutely thrilled with that deal. And again, very professional personality, which is what we're looking for. The other assistant manager that came in, though, one of Jose's specials, Paulo Ferreira, the old Chelsea player and under-23 coach. He's been assistant at Lille in this division for a year, as well as a few other places, particularly in Spanish football. And he comes in, again, not great working with youngsters, very much the opposite to Linda's, not a great coach, but a model citizen personality, great mental attributes, really good knowledge as well. Very happy to have them among the team. The final one is a new fitness coach in Ismael Fernandez, and he's absolutely brilliant at what he does and continues to add the Spanish vibe to this backroom team. Again, has worked at this level before with Bordeaux in this division, but now he's at Olympique Marseille, and we're very pleased to have him with us, another resolute personality. But let's move on to the playing side, which I'm sure will be more exciting and more extravagant, because there have been some big fees popping about. Our director of football has sold 2 big name players and also let one go for free, which we're not surprised about at all. And he's also signed 3 new first teamers, all to bring a bit of youth and a bit of quality in a much needed area. So let's start with the outs, because Carlos Augusto was the standout man when we joined the club. The standout one for being over the hill and still being paid a massive wage. He's gone back to Brazil. They're giving him good money over there, so not a bad deal for him. And for us, while it is a free transfer, it freed up a load of wage bills. So I'm kind of with the director of football on that one. Mats Viper is a bit more difficult, but the two that we lost after that have both gone to Saudi, and that money is just irrefusable. The 44 million for Viper is actually a record fee for the club. He's 31 years of age. He was going to be a key first team player, and he was, of course, a brilliant versatile option through the spine of the team. But how can you turn that down? And how can he turn down 725 grand a week? So I completely understand that from the club side and from the player side as well. As I can for Leonardo Balerdi, who only actually had 1 year left on his deal. He's gone for 27.5 million to Saudi, 600 grand a week there. He was declining physically anyway. And we've got in someone just as good as both of those defenders. The only person we haven't really replaced is Viper, but we've got good midfield options, if not as good as him. The other one that's gone out on loan is Suleiman Landim. He was a young player in the first team, the Guinea-Bissau international, who's not quite at the level. I'm sure a year away won't harm him. And one of the youth players, Mikhail Korfman, not a bad player, but he's gone off to the MLS, was never going to make it at this level. And while I think he's worth a bit more than they sold him for, they've got a sell on, and it's not going to affect my immediate job, so no complaints. Let's go and have a look at what the budget's been spent on though, because the first signing was very much a good one. Aaron Vlerdgraven from Atalanta, 6.75 million, rising to 8.5. 23-year-old Dutchman who's a natural left and right back. Now, at the time, this signing looked even more important because our first choice right back, Sasha Bowie, had an offer accepted of about 50 million. But he rejected the move away. I can't even remember to where it was now, but he rejected the opportunity to leave. And that meant he would have been first choice. But again, just like the staffing, another resolute personality, really good young defender. He's got room to improve and he can play off both sides. He'll be a great player in the squad, particularly as we rely on Champions League and League football at the same time. The next signing is a direct replacement for Carlos Augusto by the looks of it, as the director of football added Dauda Guindo from Napoli for 15.75 million. 28-year-old Mali international, 3-star ability left back, and one of those who's just a rock-solid all-rounder. Probably looks how Augusto looked about 4 years ago. So to get him on a 3-year deal, he can stay here for 2 and then get moved on. Makes perfect sense. Very happy with that. Again, fairly determined personality. And the final one is the new centre-half. 27 million from Anderlecht. Edgar Puyol, who was described by the media as a late developer. Another thing I've not seen before in this year's FM. We had a personality in a youth intake on stream called Easily Discouraged, which I'd never seen before. And this seems to be another one of those things. But what I like about him is we'd set our defence to ball-playing defenders. He's great playing out from the back. He's electric quick, which is going to really suit our style. You'll see what I mean tactically in a minute, because I've gone pretty bold this time. He's again determined. He's great mentally. He's quick. He can cover left back naturally. He can play holding midfield, right back, the lot. He's just a really good footballer. Came from the Real Madrid Academy, and it looks like we've got a bit of a gem here who's just as good as what we had before. So good signings on the staff in front, great signings on the pitch. We've brought down the average age and we've brought down the wage bill. I mean, the director of football and the technical director both have to get big credit. They've rejected a lot of bizarre deals for young loan players, which I don't really understand. And we have got one bit of bad injury news when it comes to a starting player, because if we look at the current injuries, Johan Bakayoko, who was going to start on the wing, is unavailable today. But it is an area we've got good depth, and he should be back before the big flurry of games comes. So we're all right on that front. There's a couple that have just come back who may well be fit today. But let's have a look as we head into it at what we're going to do tactically. Because most of the big boys have won this weekend already. Monaco lost at PSG, so can't really judge on that. The season preview still has us in that battle with the likes of Lille, Nice and Rennes. So it looks like we're in the battle for the bottom Champions League spots or the Europa League ones, which is where we're expected to be. I just wanted to see quickly who replaced us at Bournemouth, if anyone. Sandro Schwartz has gone in there. He was the Brentford manager prior, and he's pretty good to be fair. So we'll keep an eye on Bournemouth this season. We'll see what they do because they've signed 2 big players this summer. One joined before we left the club, and another one, a young left winger who's a model citizen wonder kid. There's so many of them about this year, but they did lose Facundo Fernandez, so their year might be a bit trickier. Let's get through the tactical meeting note so I can show you what we've set up tactically. We'll obviously adjust what the assistant has picked, But 65,000 in Marseille to watch this game. No such crowd trouble as we had over with Bournemouth. We can get plenty of people in here. And I've gone for something that we've not really been able to do at any club in this save, which is go aggressive. We've gone for what Pep Lijnders sort of suggested, which was that high intensity style, because we've got a lot of physical players. We've got a very quick defence. If you look at the likes of Suzuki and Puyol, they're both well under 6 foot. They can't really jump. And the back post defenders haven't got that option as well, bar Guindo, who's come in, who's 6 foot. So we're actually in a bit of a predicament here, because we don't want to defend our box. We don't want to be caught deep, because we've not got anyone who can deal with crosses or aerial bombardment into the box. We're not going to be great defending set pieces. So the best form of defence at the moment is attack. We've got a load of quick, aggressive attacking players who are good on the ball, great getting in behind. We've got a high intensity pressing forward and a wonder-kid youngster behind him on the bench. And we've got midfielders who are good all-rounders and have definitely got the engine to go on. What I'm not sure about is the team selection here. Maybe it's because we've got a perceived tougher game in 3 days' time. But I'm going to go for my first 11 here and not this half-rotated mess that he's gone for. But the basic principle of my strategy here, I'll probably adjust the mentality game by game. But the idea is attack, win it back high, win it back quickly, and try and play on the physical attributes, because we've not got the height, we've not got that side of things, but we've got pace, we've got energy, and we've got to make that count. And we also want to be on the front foot, because our best players are generally our attacking ones. So we're going to make a few adjustments to this team. I'll probably pick it again from scratch. We'll be back in a minute to run through the 11 that's going to make its debut for me against Clermont. Well, I've probably taken one gamble in the starting 11, and that is in terms of replacing Bakayoko, the injured man, who I didn't mention had the biggest offer of the lot this summer, but he rejected a move to Antwerp, who inexplicably had 60 million to spend apparently. Sasha Bowie, we mentioned, rejected a move away. There is now interest from Saudi clubs like Al Nassr. That could be a little bit more difficult, because I'm not sure he's going to turn that down. I would say now, though, with the 3 defenders in, I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be okay if he left. I'd be able to manage it. As I mentioned before, one of the things I don't like doing with these teams is bringing in too many new signings at once. I like to gradually bed them in so we don't have too much change at the start of a season. And I think for today's game, the only new player in the 11 is Puyol, and the rest of them will either come off the bench or gradually work in. So Guindo's there, and Fleur de Graven's there too. So no more new players than that. We are, though, going to try and play quick, exciting and entertaining football. And to be fair, of all of the key players that were linked with moves away this summer, we've kept the one that I probably feel was the most important. The best defender at the club, Querfeld. He has signed a new 5-year deal on pretty good terms compared to the rest of our squad. And for the way we're going to play, and for the fact that the rest of the defence can't jump, having a 6'3" centre-half with 18 jumping reach, incredible positioning, determination and electric pace can only be a good thing for this football club. I've set up a few set-piece routines. I've no idea if they'll work. I think the thing that excites me and makes me nervous about this is tactically, those of you that have followed me for years will know this is something completely out of the ordinary for me. It's completely different to the style I usually play, completely different to the setup, but I'm waiting to see if it works. And if it all comes crashing down, well, we'll have to start from square one on a job front again. So the man I've brought in for the injured right winger Bakayoko, well, in fact, he was the injured left winger, is Iliman Ndiaye, the former Sheffield United man. The straight swap would have probably been for Tawu, because Torres would normally play the middle, Zaragoza on the right. But I think this is the better setup for this game, and I want to give these lads fitness as well. So this is the 11 we're going for. It is Dumont in goal, the young Belgian keeper. The stay-in Sasha Bowie at right back for now. Left back, I've gone for Bartasagi, who's just back from a knock, but I don't want to throw in too many new boys, especially in the defence. So Guindo will be on the bench today. Puyol does come in, though, as the only debutant alongside Querfeld. We've got Diaz in front of them. Probably would have been a substitute if we hadn't lost our man for a record sale. Fratesi is the best midfielder. He's a centre midfielder on attack. He's exceptional. He's great going forward. And I'm hoping will give us a real threat in front 5. And then Zaragoza moves to the left because of Bakayoko's injury. Torres shifts over to the right. And Iliman Ndiaye comes in behind Vitinha, the pressing forward, who's going to be the first line of defence in this gegenpress system. So let's see how we get on at home to Clermont on the opening day. I'm guessing they're not one of the best sides in the league. Season preview, they're expected to be third or fourth bottom. This is a game that we really have to win. No one's competing with PSG and probably no one with Monaco. But the aim for this season is to try and be the best of the rest or go on a massive run in the Cup or Europe. Let's go and get into the opening game of the season and see if we can start in style against Clermont. Well, a lot of players were looking happy in the dressing room. We seem to have got a lot of people on side, which is great. They've got a few good players in their team, but a lot of it has changed since the start. And of course, we're not expecting them to be one of the strongest teams in the division. Apparently, we owe Clermont revenge, so I'm guessing Marseille had a tough time against them last time. Please don't say it's the club's bogey team. We can't be having that on the first day. But look at this. This is why we moved from Bournemouth. Forget the slight pay rise. Forget the change in approach. Forget the fact we can be more aggressive and live in a sunnier part of the world. We have got 65,000 fans in this stadium. No trouble to sell tickets in its numbers. And we're not trying to fight to get a few people in at Bournemouth to watch us scrap for a 1-0. Let's hope we can be aggressive and attacking and really put in a good performance as we start in white going from right to left against Clermont, who are playing out from the back. I'm imagining we'll see a lot more teams with young players trying to play at the moment, but that might suit us if we can win it back quickly. Torres cuts in from the right to Diaz. Big switch to Brian. Two in the middle and Dye's one. What a team selection decision that is. The man I've brought in at the expense of the suggested Fatawu has scored in the first 30 seconds. We could not have had a better start to the season. We could not have had a better start to our time at Marseille. 30 seconds in, we're 1-0 up. And we've created a great chance already as Fratesi plays out. Oh, this could be a bloodbath. Torres, go on, make it count. Across the box is a good save. It's out for a corner kick. Can we get an early second? And I'll really start to feel confident. Look, we're going to face, well, according to the season preview, 15 teams better than this season, as we nearly score from the front post set piece. But if we can get off to a good start, when there's nerves, when there's an injury, when there's people who aren't that familiar with our style, it could be a real good sign for the future. We're 1-0 up after 15 minutes and we are dominating the stats. They've barely got out of their half as Brian's got it on the left-hand side. Back to Ndiaye. Oh, he's gone for it again. Maybe he's not going to be a backup this year. Bakayoko will come back from injury and be fighting it out with the other three for a starting spot at a minute because Ndiaye has popped up with 2 big goals. With Champions League football to come, with the French Cup as well, it's great to have other players in form as Claire fell just over the bar at the back post. I've taken a bit of a difference with the set pieces this year. For the corners, I've gone for near post flick-ons and smothered the edge of the box with 3 or 4 players. Whereas for wide free kicks, I've gone for the back post and a bit more of my traditional feel. And I'm not really sure which one's going to work out. But so far, I mean, we've not been tested. We're playing against one of the worst sides. And I think as you can see from the Lille game there as well, the bottom sides they're not as competitive as the Premier League. They're going to be absolutely miles off. So 2-0 at half-time is a great scoreline. Yes, the goals were good, but it maybe is a bit too early to be getting overexcited. I think we've got Monaco away in a few weeks. We might learn a bit more then. As Querfeld gets the ball at the back, again under no pressure. Can we start the second half as we did the first? Fratesi wide to Torres. He gets the ball in. Vitinha's there. Think he's off. The flag's up, the hand's up. VAR will check it. I'm not sure he's going to get his goal there, which is a shame because they've both been poor so far. And if it counts, oh, it does. I'll probably sort them all out. The front 4 have now all got an assist or a goal. And you can see the way we're harrying them. And to be fair, the fitness is holding up all right at the minute as well. Though we've been caught in behind there. Sasha Bowie, Bandama in. Oh, that's poor. We've conceded a goal and I would have wanted a clean sheet. I was about to say it's the only thing that would make the day better. We've been carved open pretty easily there, and it's our best defender, Bowie, getting caught out. I would expect us to concede a few goals down the left side of our defence this season, because Puyol and Bartasaghi are not the best defensively. But Querfeld and Bowie should be elite level. They're the 2 that would probably get into most Premier League teams. As Fratesi plays to Torres, I guess it would just have to be a game of outscore the opposition. Big switch to Brian, who's got it on the left again. Cuts in, goes from distance. That's a little bit too ambitious for me. The Wolf saves it. It's pretty comfortable. Clermont have scored from their only shot on target. We're dominant, but we've got to be careful of complacency here. 10 minutes gone in the second half. and I want to make sure we can play this 11 on Wednesday. So let's make some changes. Brian Zaragoza replaced by Fatawu. Torres will go over to the left. I'm going to take Bartasaghi off for Guindo, who will make his debut because he's very close anyway, and Bartasaghi had a hamstring knock in a week. Fratesi will come out for the Icelandic player Ellertson, who's a very good midfielder, albeit left-footed, which isn't ideal for this position. I'm going to leave it at that for now. We will get Vlerdgraven on for his debut. I'm going to try and get the wonder kid striker on a bit as well, Brandao, as Torres has a free kick into the box. One more and we do it immediately as Puyol gets it on the left. Let's hope as good as his former namesake from Barca, eh? As Diaz gets down the left-hand side. Chance to cross. 5 in the middle, still from the set piece. Ellison loses it, but Fatawu can't get to the second ball. And now it's away. We've still got 4 back. I'm a little bit concerned about the way we're dealing with counters here. Yegby gets it defensively and goes back to his keeper. That's a much better shape. Big ball over the top. Oh, Puyol's been done. We could be in trouble here. Berger puts it over, but a few signs that defensively we're maybe not quite as solid as we should be. And I know we're going to open up chances this way, but the players we've got should be doing better. As Guindo finds Torres on the left-hand side. He carries it forward towards Ellertson. Wide to Fatawu, the sub. Playing for Leicester in real life. Deflected shot here. And Facundo Torres puts it beyond any doubt. 4-1 with 20 to go. Now we can get excited. Sasha Bowie will come off for Vlerdgraven. He makes his debut too. And Brandao will be the final sub in 5 minutes. Just got to decide who to take off then. Probably going to be Torres, if I'm being honest. Let's see where these other boys can play. Vitinha can do a job off the left if we need him. Brandao, again, can, but I'd rather have him up front. So I'm going to put Brandao on for Torres. Vitinha off the left-hand side. And then I'm going to put Brandao up, maybe as the advance forward, but he seems to be fine as the pressing one. So maybe we can just leave it like that for now and see how he adapts to that role. 20 shots to 2. I mean, it's been a dominant display and they've been poor opposition. But there is a suggestion we're going to have to be better than this at times in the future. As they've got a throw on the left-hand side. Juve finds Yegby. Can we put some gloss on it? Can we get Brandao the wonder kid a goal? That would be lovely. As they're playing out again. Bandama with a switch of play. Good win from Guindo. Vitinha breaking down the left. He's going to have to play out of position a bit towards the ends of games this season. Does really well though. The cross is blocked. Back out to him again. And now Diaz. Vitinha again. Into Brandao. Fatawu's there. And another one of the attacking stars scores. This is the perfect start for the season. Just getting loads of the attacking players on the score sheet. Brandao's now about the only one who hasn't. And Zaragoza, who got an assist anyway. As Vlerdgraven gets it at right back. Can he join the party as we move into stoppage time? Definitely been emphatic. Definitely been poor opposition. But what a start. You've got to enjoy these moments. Vlerdgraven finds Diaz, who's the only one I'm worried about physically now. As Vitinha gets in behind. Cuts in on his right. Off the post to Fatawu. 6-1. And I think we better pick our league games wisely this season. Because the home games against the relegation battling sides, they don't look like they're going to be contests. It's a 6-1 win for Olympique Marseille. It's a perfect start to a new season. We got the debutants on. We got goals into the attackers. The only thing missing was a clean sheet. We're second in the league. We're 1 behind Lille, who won 6-0. Lyon won comfortably. PSG beat Monaco comfortably. I'm not sure we're going to compete with PSG, but if we can get in that top 4 again, it would be magnificent. The star of the show has got to be Ndai, who started it all off for us. 2 early goals of the highest quality, and that from the man who wasn't even due to start the season in the team. We'll do the press conference in a minute, but let's look at when we're going to be back. I mean, in an ideal world, I would show you the Monaco game, but I've got to show you deadline day, and I want to find the closest around that. So, of Rennes and Toulouse, who's expected to finish higher? Go to the season preview. Stade de Rennes are expected to finish 9th. So that as an away game could be a pretty good one as well. The final game of August, transfer deadline day with the director of football. Will we lose any more stars to Saudi? We'll be back to find out. And we should know by then who we're facing in the Champions League. So we'll go and have a look at the schedule from that point too. For now though, if you did enjoy this one, a dream start on the pitch with Marseille. 3 debutants starring in the team and all the attacking players in form. And please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you think of the tactical setup. I know many of the regulars on this channel for years will be wondering if I've lost my mind. What am I doing? Showing not much defensive caution. But hopefully it will pay dividends later on in the season. We'll find out as we go along. We'll feature Europe a lot this year too. So if you want to stay up to date and make sure you don't miss it as our French adventure begins, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time to see what happens on deadline day and after 3 more difficult away days than the home game we've just faced. But between now and then, we're back with Southend United tomorrow as we're having a bit of a breakthrough season, I think you would say, in that save. And of course, you can find all the other playlists, including that Southend one and our nostalgia series from FM09, all up in the eye above. The football podcast and a Twitch channel are there as well. And at the top of the description, you can get 60% off HelloFresh UK, plus free delivery on your first box. There's also 2 months worth of discounts and free gifts there as well. And you help support the channel while getting tasty, easy dinners. But thank you very much for watching, for joining me at my new club. I'm happy at the moment, but how long will it last? I'll see you next time to find out if we're still smiling and see if our director of football can deliver the goods for us.